Hi, everyone. This is Kavita with the Enlightened Heart coming to you with Wednesday Wisdom. Um, and, like usual, I am going to talk about some things and tips to help you. Some of these things that I talk about may just be reminders of things that you've heard or read before. Oftentimes, we need to hear these things more than once for it to really sit well with us, or hear it at the time when we're open to hearing it. So, stories. Okay, and so before you say, "Oh, I'm not interested in that," I want to say how this is beneficial to you. Okay, so the stories are the thought patterns, or where we fill in the gaps of information, where we start to interpret things about others' behavior based on what knowledge we have. Okay, it's a normal human reaction to fill in the blanks of a story based on whatever limited information that you have. So this can happen, and most likely happens when in regards to relationships. Okay, so an example I'll give you: a friend, a spouse, relative, someone makes a comment, okay, or they say a statement, and that statement, then instead of asking more information and asking what if this is what they meant, often we can take it in a way that triggers past, right? So maybe the statement was said by someone else in a different, similar way, or was similar to that statement, and for it meant something about you. And so this other person is saying something, and then your brain fills in the blanks based on the limited information that you're given. So just to make this easier to understand, because it's kind of abstract, right, is someone says something about just your blouse, right? So I'm gonna look and see, today I'm wearing this blouse, and they say something like, "Oh, that's an interesting blouse that you're wearing today." Okay. And maybe in your past, your clothing has been criticized by others by using the word interesting. Okay. And maybe even said in a context of a conversation, sometimes the tone is not always accurate, right? So we can often interpret things by tone as well, especially my sensitive and empathetic people. We tend to feel kind of the energy behind a statement, and can sometimes actually feel that even through the texts. Okay, and we can also misinterpret. Okay, so that person may have meant that they don't like your clothing, that it looks weird and they don't like it, and they would not wear it. Or they could be saying something like, "That's really an interesting design." That's it. That could actually be all that they meant from the statement. But our brain fills in the blanks based on subconscious past experiences or conscious past experience, and we create the story. And then we believe the story as true. Okay. And so another way this can happen is based on a person's behavior. So we attend something, or we hear about something about someone. This is really present in gossip, right? So you hear these things, and then you start to make all these assumptions about the person. You make assumptions about the person's behavior, and you may have little or very little background of what's going on. And so this happens all the time in relationships, and this causes issues between friends. This causes issues in relationships in many different forms. Okay, so before you start to fill in the blanks, fill in the story based on your past conditioning or the limited knowledge you have, I'm going to encourage you to stop and do the following. So first, if it's possible and if it's important enough to you, and this relationship is important enough to you, I would ask, a behavior bothered you. I would reach out and take ownership. I statements, right? You take ownership for your own feelings, because in reality, as hard as it is to accept, for me as well, others can't make you feel a certain way. Your reaction to the way that the statement or whatever is what's making you feel that way. Your thoughts about that is making you feel a certain way. So you're actually giving them power by allowing them to impact you if that's their intention, right? So if it depends on the situation, right? This is not, can't be done for all situations. But if you're in a situation where you are worried about someone's behavior, then that relationship is important to you. You can reach out to them and take ownership and said, I feel, right? I felt when you ignored me, I felt hurt, right? Are you upset with me? Did I do something? Right? And so then opening up that dialogue, right? So that's one option. Okay. And then the other options are, if a person's behavior is repetitive and this is how they behave, and you've talked about it before, then you get to choose whether you want to continue that relationship if it's important enough to you, right? And then on the other option, what I've been working on over the last couple of years is stepping away from gossip, because gossip is a distraction from connection. Some people use it as a way to connect. They think that that's a way to find common ground with the person if you're both gossiping, but it's really a hurtful thing to do to the person you're gossiping about. And it's filling in story, because we don't know how much of what you know is true, and we don't know how much of that is your interpretation, because we see everything through the lens of, right? And so I'm just going to encourage you to really take a step back, to have like a broader perspective of things going on, to improve your communication, and to step away from things that are pulling others down, because that prevents you from being truly authentic who you are, and it deflects attention away from you, and it's not helpful. It's not helpful. And so, always think about, if I was the person that this is being talked about, how would I feel? And, put yourself in that person's place. So, there's so many other ways to connect with people. There's so many more authentic, deeply connected ways that we can have true connections with people that improve our lives, that provide fulfillment and joy. And so, just to summarize, first, don't fill in the story. If you can communicate to find out more information. And when you communicate, if you choose that, taking ownership for your part in it and how you feel. Okay. And then if there's a possibility that there's filling in the story going on in front of you, really stepping back, right? It's not fun, I know, to be the person that's like, oh, I don't agree with that. Maybe you're not ready to stand up for others. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to step away from that and to maybe change the subject, or talk about something that's more connecting, because as human beings, we all want the same things. We all want connection. We all want a seat at the table. We all want to be seen and heard. So that is Wednesday Wisdom for this week. I look forward to connecting with you again next week. And if you have any comments or questions, please respond below the video in the comment section. And I also wanted to share that I have 2 clarity session spots that, left for this month, this upcoming month, actually in November. And so if you're interested in those spots, I'm going to have a link below. You can apply, answer the questions, and pick a time that works for you. And this call will be 45 minutes in which we will talk about what's not working in your life, what you would like to change, and whether working together is a good fit. So I look forward to connecting to those of you that need that support. And the rest of you, see you next week. Take good care. Bye.